Nice. Can see in the screen there. Yeah, move your chair up just a little bit. What's up, everybody? We are back today, Thursday, with another episode of Powerful and Positive People podcast. This is episode number 5, which I'm super excited about because I'm sticking to it. And today we have the wonderful Gracie, the great Jocelyn. What's up, kiddo? Good to have you here. As always, the purpose of this is to mainly interview teenagers that are doing great in life, but also revisit a challenge that they had in their past and how they overcame it. And due to that, they turned their mess into a message, and now they're even more powerful and positive over it. And before we got started right now, actually, I won't even say that right now. We'll just go right into it on the mics. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Powerful and Positive People podcast, episode number 5. You are tuned in with Coach Mark the Spark, here from the Growth Dojo. Today, our interviewee is Gracie, the great Jocelyn. How are you, Gracie?
I'm doing okay.
It's good to have you here. You're a little nervous, aren't you? Yeah. Two things about being nervous. One, when you're nervous, it shows that you care, right? And then 2, we're talking about inspiration this week with the word rise. And they said fear is inspiration without the breath. Think about that. When someone's inspired and they're excited, how do they breathe? Right? Their body's shoulders are back, their chin is up, they're excited. But when you're fearful, how's it go? Shoulders forward, shallow breathing, right? It's like almost like you're holding your breath due to the anxiety. So basically, fear is inspiration without the breath. And I thought that was so cool. How are you doing? Awesome? Tell me a little about yourself. How old are you?
I just recently turned 12.
Are you really? I thought you were like 13 or 14. You're so mature for your
Everyone
age.
says that.
Yeah, you have this mature vibe about yourself. And you are one of our newest students here at the Martial Arts Center. When did you start? How long ago? I would say about 2 months ago. I was to say, looking at your white belt. You're about to go for advanced white belt, right? And you are in Williamstown High School?
Middle school.
Middle school. And obviously you're 12. What grade's 12th grade? What grade is for a 12-year-old?
6.
Oh, wow. Is it really?
Because we have 5th grade in our middle school.
Oh, okay. 6th grade. Oh, so you've been in a middle school since 5th. All right. Because for me, in this town, going into 6th grade, it was the brand new middle school. So it was 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Well, in 4th grade, we had to go to the middle school due to mold.
So that was a nice little taste of it before you even got there. Well, besides martial arts, what else are you into? Hobby-wise.
I enjoy drawing.
Yeah? What kind of art?
Anime,
like Dragon Ball Z? That kind
really.
of anime?
No.
Is it Japanese anime or?
Japanese.
Now, is that what anime is? Like when someone's, anime is like Pixar. That's anime, right?
No.
No?
That's animation. Anime is a type of Japanese cartoon adopted from Japanese culture.
But you know the whole background behind that. Way to go. How'd you get started in that?
Well, I was younger and I was scrolling through YouTube Kids, just being me, and little nosy me decided to look up something random, and I typed in Sailor for some reason because I was weird, and Sailor Moon popped up. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I click it, and I think I watched like 5 episodes before getting really into it.
Of an episode. What was the episode called?
I don't even remember.
Okay. But it was Japanese, obviously, anime. But now you like drawing the anime. And now are you just a good artist, or you just don't care that you can't draw, but you like to draw anime no matter what, regardless
I'm
of
kind
that?
of in the middle, because sometimes if I want to draw a really good anime picture, I'll have to look at a reference. But other times, I don't even know what I'm drawing. It just kind of happens, and everyone's like, wow, that's really cool. Can you draw me? And I'm like, nope. Well,
guess what? That's how you start to find out like what you're good at, and that's how it builds from there. It's like somebody says, man, you're a good martial arts instructor when you're an assistant for someone else, and people kind of keep telling you you're really good with people and being in front of people. Or if you're a good baker, people are like, man, you make the best cupcakes, And the market or people will always let you know if they like what you're doing or not. And if they like it, and you want to kind of lean into that a little bit more. So right now, if I snap my fingers, what would you want to be? Would you want to be an anime artist?
I want to be an animator personally.
Okay.
Because from a young age, I just enjoyed drawing, and I saw this animator on YouTube, The Odd Ones Out, not sponsored. I just enjoyed his cute little animations. It wasn't even anything big. It was just a white blob with a face.
Right. A lot of times, like Minecraft, and Minecraft seems so simple.
And ton of blocks, but it's so good.
I was asking the teenagers on the mat the other day. I was like, "Is it still popular?" They were like, "Yes, Minecraft is still popular." What if you had to make an anime show right now? What would be the name of it?
Oh Lord, I have no idea.
What would be the name?
I don't
No,
know.
Gracie the Great, something along that line. No. So all right, so you're into anime. You like drawing. How's your grades in school? They could be better. Atta girl, way to be self-aware. What are your top subjects? What are you good at?
I'm good at ELA and science.
Okay. What are your harder subjects?
Math and
Math.
world cultures.
Math and world. I'll never forget, Gracie. Don't tell anybody this. As I tell you, I'm saying on the podcast in front of so many people. I'll never forget. I was in 6th grade, and my history teacher, he brought out the blank map of America, and your goal is to fill in all the states and the capitals. I looked at that map, still haunts me to this day. I didn't even know where New Jersey was. That's how horrible. I knew where Texas was, California, and Florida. And then from there, I didn't even know the states of it either. I only knew those 3. And he was like, "You don't even know where New Jersey is?" He's like, "This is where you live." I was like, "No." So that's one thing I've always been struggle with, which is geography. So I feel you on that one. Hey, I have you on this podcast because you started with us a little over 2 months ago, right? And when you came in, your shoulders were down, your head was down, you stepped on the mat, you weren't playing any sports, you weren't involved in any activities. You got on the mat, kind of skeptical, my parents were making me come here, I'm going to try it out. And at the end of the class, I walked over to you, I said, "How'd you like it?" You were like, "I loved it." And those words, they gave me goosebumps because that's the power of self-development. That's the power of working on yourself and getting better. What made you love your first class so much?
I just felt the over positivity as an amazing thing because I grew up not having as much as I wish I did. I was bullied a bit and kind of hurt. Grew up with slight depression that started getting worse as years went on.
Okay, so what grade were you when you were being bullied, or age?
I think it started around 1st grade and it eventually stopped in 5th grade.
It stopped in 5th grade. How did it stop? What made it stop?
I eventually just got tired and I told my dad and he called the school and it stopped from there.
Nice. But also, guess what? It may have not stopped, but now you being in 6th grade and coming here, you're doing something about it, right? You're taking it in your own hands. And that's what a lot of times happens for most kids or teenagers. And I hope they're watching this or listening to this. It's like you think you're alone. Everyone's getting bullied, right? But we wait for everyone else to take care of it, and it's never going to go away. So when you start to do something about it, meaning you come to a positive environment, we're all like cell phone batteries. When you use your cell phone or your iPad, the battery goes where?
Down.
It goes down. What do you have to do to recharge? Oh, I just said the answer. What do you have to do to make it go up? You gotta what?
You plug it in.
You gotta plug it in. So when you're in school or people are going throughout their day, there's a lot of negativity out there. But what they don't do is when they come home, they don't recharge. So now when they wake up the next day, their batteries are low and they're hitting the negativity again. And it impacts them even more so and it puts them in that depression state. Whereas you now, like you said, you're coming to a positive atmosphere. So you're constantly recharging your batteries. The reason why I wanted to have you on this podcast today was because 2 weeks ago, you were in class. You're hitting the mitts, you're smashing the pads, you're with a good teammate, and I'm walking by, the music's on. I walk by, you're like, "Coach." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, Grace?" You're like, "I love this," right? And it was like, wow, that kind of intensity and enthusiasm, gives me goosebumps. It makes my chills go because that's why I do this. And when I talk about it and I tell you what you do, how you're doing, well, it's like your shoulders come back, your chin is up, and that focus, whatever we focus on, it's what we feel. So when you come here, you're focused on the positivity, you're focused on getting better, you're focused on, "Man, I love this." If you keep doing that, that's what you keep getting. So a big part of this podcast is, that might have been it, but we'll dive deeper into it if it was, but a big part of this podcast is understanding that people go through challenges. Most people don't look at their backside story and they don't make it a comeback. They let it be their past and they replay it and they never allow them to learn from it and go forward. Whereas you went through that bullying and you came out on the other side and actually you're more powerful and positive now due to that and making yourself better. Was there a different challenge that we were going to talk about today or was that the one?
It's a different one.
Oh, I love it. Awesome. So my question for you, so the people at home understand, we're about to ask Gracie right now. Here we go. What was a challenge in your life that you went through And going through it, it was tough, but you made a breakthrough and you came out on the other side. And because of that breakthrough, you're even more powerful and positive right now in life. Go.
So I went through depression, but not because of bullying. It was. So let's begin from the start.
Sure.
January 6, 2008, I was born into the world, and let's just say it wasn't as happy as a lot of other births were. As I got older, my biological mom would drink, do drugs. She would abuse me. She'd hit me. She'd tell me my father didn't love me and that I was a mistake. I wasn't meant to live. And as I got older, I let that affect me. And eventually, last year during 5th grade, I said something I still regret to this day. I said I wanted to kill myself. And as I was in the car with my mom driving to the hospital, my mom asked me where it came from. And I told her, my biological mom said that she was going to kill me. And I wanted to kill myself first so she didn't get the...
Oh, Grace, I'm so sorry.
So she didn't get the satisfactory of getting to me first. And so we were in the hospital. We were in the ER hallway for about 9 hours listening to this insane grandma just scream, and it traumatized me. And I was sent to a room after 9 hours in the hallway, and I was sent to another room to go talk to a mental doctor who wasn't even in person. I had to talk to him over a video camera.
Okay.
Which I think was completely stupid. Like, if he couldn't make it, get me a different person. I'm not going to sit here over a video chat. But I had to because there was no other choice. And as I was trying to tell him why, he kept interrupting me. He wouldn't listen to me. And then eventually he told me I had to become an inpatient on medication. And he talked to my parents, and my dad's like, I'm not going to let you take away my daughter and get her all hyped on drugs. And so I spent the next day or two in the hospital, and a social worker came in, and she actually listened to me, and I was able to leave. And after that, as long as I went to therapy, I would be fine, and I ended up going, and it made my life so much better. If you were to talk to me about 2 years ago, I would be completely different. I'd be upset all the time. I hated talking with people. And it just hurt inside knowing that the person that was a mother to me, who I would fall into her arms when I needed her the most, said that my dad tried to kill me, get an abortion. It hurt.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say right now, thank you for your courage right now to say what you just said. Give me a big hug. I'm proud of you. You're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. And you matter. And you're still here. You wanna know why? Because God's not done with you. All right? He has big plans for you. And doing this today, that I get to chill, is like this is his plan for you right now, because you're about to save so many other lives. You're about to help other people that feel the same way, and what you're doing to get through it. And it shows that they're not alone in the same process. And we have Dad over here to the side, and kudos to you, Dad. What an amazing father, to help you get through this. Because a lot of times, even as a parent, you don't know what to do, and maybe you blame something else, and you don't quite follow through and care about what's going on with the child. So awesome family.
Even after a bit of the therapy, I was still depressed, and I had been begging my parents all throughout the years of my life to take me to karate or martial arts. And eventually, after that time and my story, they were like, I think you need it and you should go. And when I heard I was coming here, I was overhyped with joy.
Yeah.
And ever since coming here, it's made me so much stronger.
It's an honor to have you as a student. It really is, because the kick and punch is, anybody can do that, but to make an impact and to help somebody, and now what you're doing, helping somebody else as well, that's how you make a difference, and that's what's important. And right now, mental health is like something that's huge. You know, a lot of times we think we want to defend ourselves against an attacker, but we got to defend ourselves against those thoughts, that negativity. And you've done that. I mean, how powerful that is at your age, especially being 12 and understanding that I need help, I need a therapist, I want to go to martial arts. The responsibility that you took to get better is insane. You may not realize that just yet, but so many people, it's not their fault and they blame other people. But guess what? It isn't your fault. This was not your fault for what happened in your life. However, it is up to you to change what happened. And that's what you did. And that is true strength. That is true strength. And you are strong. You're stronger than me. You know what I'm saying? You are super awesome. Super proud of you. So now that you're in the martial arts, now you're seeing therapy on a consistent basis. Are your thoughts better? Do you think more positive?
I used to think that, you know, maybe life isn't just how I always thought, that I would always have good grades, I would always be loved. But now I see that living with my dad and my mom is an amazing thing for me, and I'm growing up to be an independent young woman because of my past experience, hence why I act so mature, because I've been through that trauma of having, you know, and it's matured me so much.
You know, we talked about yesterday with inspiration, when you go back into your past and you relive it all the time, and it gives you that same feeling. And most people do that. Instead of going back, you want to make a comeback. And the analogy is this: if you were to watch a horrible movie, would you watch it again? No, right? So if we watch a movie that's horrible, we don't want to ever watch it again. Well, it's the same thing for us. If there's a horrible experience in our past, why keep reliving it? Why keep watching it? Because what's next and what's most important is what you do next. And you are taking on that responsibility, and it's insane how awesome it is. It's insane how awesome it is. So if someone's watching this right now and they're kind of going through the same thing, what would you suggest?
I would suggest definitely getting help or talking to someone that you trust, because when I didn't tell anyone, I felt alone. I would cry for no reason other than to just get it out. My brain was all over the place. I'd be on schoolwork focusing, and then all of a sudden a thought would rush through my head and I'd just break down.
Yeah. Well, they say that's the strongest thing you can ever do is ask for help. And when you ask for help, you start to realize there's a lot of help out there, and you think that you're alone, and you're not. So, I mean, there is just so much greatness in this conversation right now. I couldn't be any more proud for you. Now, my question for you is this. A little different for you, but if you were looking at, so this started in first grade, you said? No, the bullying started in first grade. When did you start to get the depression through your mother? Were you with your mother at a certain age? Were you never with her?
I was with her. I'd visit her. I was with my dad more than my mom anyway.
Okay. Do you still see your mother?
No.
Okay, so
I have a restraining order against her.
Okay, way to protect yourself. Now, what age did you really start to feel the negativity from your mother? Kindergarten, okay. So my question for you right now is, if you were sitting in front of the kindergarten Gracie, right, that little girl Gracie who's about to go through what you know what she's about to go through, what advice would you give her?
Don't trust your mom. Go tell your dad what's happening, because I kept it in for so long until I finally told my older sister, and that's how my dad found out. I would have been like, tell dad. He'll help you right away, and you won't have to go through any of the trauma I had to go through.
Sooner versus later, right? And a lot of kids sometimes think it's their fault, you know what I mean, because there's drama through the family, or you're supposed to tolerate what's happening, you know what I mean, where someone puts that on you. But in life, you get what you tolerate. So when you don't tolerate it, you don't get it anymore.
I mean, you have to think it is kind of ridiculous that a mother would look her 5-year-old daughter in the eyes and say, your dad tried to kill you.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. But you know what I try to do?
If I saw her now, I would be screaming in her face, honestly.
Okay.
You talked to your stepmom, that
Yeah. That shows the power of your stepmom, doesn't it? I mean, think about that, because you could look at another authority figure that's a female and kind of put the same emotions that you have in your mom on that person. So that has to show how powerful and positive your stepmom is for you to have that place of a female caretaker, so to speak. What was I going to say? You said about the depression. Oh, you tolerate, so you didn't tolerate that anymore. This is where I want to go with that. You would scream at your mom right now if you saw her, right?
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have the Gracie that we have right now if it wasn't for your mom. So there's a couple ways you can look at this and move forward with it. Yeah, the anger is going to always be there, but when you flip the perception of it, if you're going to blame her for what she did, and now all of a sudden you say, you know what, I'm also going to thank her for what she did. Because we wouldn't have this bold, courageous 12-year-old at this time and stage and age of your life to be this mature, to be able to impact somebody else that's 11 and 12. Because when someone sits here and they're 18 and they're explaining a story, it's hard to connect when someone's going through it at that younger age. I wouldn't have this Gracie today if it wasn't for your mom. And that perception and that flip helps. Would you agree that helps a little bit more, or not yet?
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. I always blamed her for my anger and blamed her for my sadness, but I never really thought that she helped me further in life to become a stronger person.
Yeah. And when you do that attitude of gratitude towards that, it takes hopefully a little bit more of the pain out of you and gives you a little bit more compassion. You know, it's like haters, dealing with haters online, right? It's like you want to have compassion for them. They're going through something. You know, my dad, he committed suicide. He was never a great dad. I know he was a good dad at parts of my life, but he struggled with demons. And there was times in his life that he wasn't the best role model. But he went through a horrible childhood. So it's kind of like it wasn't his fault, but also at the same time, it was his job to take responsibility and change that for my childhood, right? Whereas like you're not gonna let this affect you. You're gonna be one of the best moms in the world, right? Whereas you're taking the responsibility and you're changing the course of action of that.
Hence why I cut my hair. I used to have this cute little short brown bob, and it just reminded me so much of her because every time I was with her, I had it, and I was like, you know what? I'm getting rid of it. I'm getting rid of her, and my hair got cut, and it was slightly longer than this, and then I cut it again because I felt, the need for shorter hair because the long hair got too long for me.
Yes. You become the person that you want to be. And when you change that identity, it's like a new person, right? So you have this in your mind, which I love, because guess what you're doing right now? You're building Gracie the Great. That's what you're doing. You're changing the identity. You're changing the mindset. You're going to martial arts. You're going to therapy. You have a great relationship with your dad and your stepmom. It's like you are changing the identity of what you expect out of yourself and what you want out of life.
She's not even my stepmom anymore. She's my real mom now.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, I'm super proud of you. Super proud of you. It's an honor to be your coach. I'm thankful for you. I'm glad you're on this earth because you're here obviously for a purpose, and you matter more than anything in this world. There'll never be another Gracie Jocelyn. There will never be another one. So, and what you're doing, what most people don't do, you're making the best version of Gracie Jocelyn. You rock, man. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Well, there you have it. That's what this show is all about, the Powerful and Positive People podcast. It's about teenagers that are going through a challenge in their life, but yet they take the responsibility to improve that challenge and turn that mess into a message instead. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you got something out of this. Please share it with other people so this way we can make a difference and change their lives as well. You rock, Miss Gracie. Come here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Man, you are brave. You are like super brave. I need tissues down here. You're the second person. I had Carly down here. She cried. And I was like, oh no. And I was like, next week I need to get tissues out here. I was like, I need to make my podcast set up a little bit better. I need to get the Oprah Winfrey set up. Man, you are awesome. Hey guys, if you tuned into this today, or if you're just tuning into this now, please go back. Please share this with somebody that might be struggling with depression because of a family split up, or maybe they just don't feel like they matter. And guess what? There's a lot of people out there right now that are feeling that way. So please share it with them. Shout from the rooftops. Let's make a difference. Mental health is just the same as physical health. So we got to take care of our brain. We got to protect it. Self-defense against physical stuff and self-defense against negative stuff. So we're here to help in any way. Please reach out to us if we can. And you guys rock. Thanks for listening and watching.